Meeting to order. It's the 22nd day of February. It is 1:40 and we are in the JP courtroom in the Ramsey County Courthouse. Roll call.
Commissioner Cheney, Commissioner Castro,
Here.
Commissioner Russo. Here. Commissioner Dupnick.
Here.
Judge Costa.
Here. We've got a quorum and I'm going to do citizens to be heard. We've got one that signed up.
Hello, Jeff Hutt, Prairie Road. I'll be real quick, Judge. Just want to remind the court that today is what we consider in Texans, the start of the Battle of the Alamo for the next 13 days, ending on March 6th. I would like to really see going forward that our county, as Texans, these are our high holy days. It's times when whites, browns, and blacks all got together and told, a tyrant from down south where he could go and where he could shove it. And I think that's something that we should honor and that we should hold celebrations at. But like I said, I just like to remind the court that we're in these days. And going forward in like the next couple of years, I'd love to see us really celebrate this part of our heritage and tradition. But thank you, Judge, and good. Thank you for what you're doing with the courthouse too. I appreciate it.
Thank you. All right, we'll move on to item number 1. Is it a motion?
Move to approve change order number 13 from Teal Construction for the following changes. CPR 84, reduce the plaque size. Deduct $4,345 to change to the 5-foot diameter plaque. To the 3-foot diameter plaque. And CPR 86 to add data and power in DC A 210 and DC Lobby A 208. Adding the cost of $18,019 and 5 impact days.
Second. Got a motion and got a second. Mark, who's gonna drive? Who's gonna present this?
Yeah, I can do that.
Good afternoon, Mark.
Hey, thank you, Judge, and Commissioners and members of the community. So that change order, went through some scrutiny and some design modifications. We came to a solution that I think is acceptable to everyone, and it seems to be probably the most cost-effective way we can modify removal of the wall that was designed to be in between the desks and provide power and data to all the desks without having the wall there.
And you're talking about in what room? The district clerk?
That's right, yeah.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Is Elle here?
Yes, I'm right here.
Okay, sorry, couldn't see. So the 18,000, is that going to have the 4345 deducted? And so the impact is like 14,674?
Right. It is.
Yeah. And is this a design issue?
A design issue?
About the wall?
That it is. It is because they needed to see into the vault. So that's why the wall got removed, which has the data and electricity in it. And that's why we're now going through the redesign.
Is that what we had before us?
Yeah, I go out you guys all floor plans, so you should see on the floor plan. When you look at the second floor and you look at room 8A210, which is right here in this corner.
I thought this chamber is. This is added data and power in the district clerk's lobby with desk.
Oh.
How that underneath. the wall. This, not that one.
Oh, so that is the ones that they put it in the window area and didn't bring it over to the.
This is the power where your desk is at.
Yes, where it's gonna have to go to the other side, right?
Correct.
Is this where they had it on the customer side and not on the staff side?
Yeah,
Correct.
no, they have it on the staff side and not on the other side is for public terminals. And that's all the public has to be able to look at our records unless they walk into the vault. So they just didn't run power and data over there for whatever reason. They left it just in the window area. So it's gotta go over there. Okay, so this is on your floor plan. This is gonna be this orange section right here. Where,
Says district clerk lobby.
yes,
Okay.
where the public computers are at. Now they'll have to add electricity to the public computers.
Is that an issue again?
I don't know how that happened. I mean, obviously, we intended for it to have data and electricity. Why they didn't run it over there, I don't know. So as far as I can tell, it's bound to be a design issue or something got missed on the plan. I don't know. I mean,
And I know you're recent here,
I
right?
would agree. I would agree. I think that's probably a design issue.
What is the cost of 5 impact days? Do we have that?
I'll let Teal speak to that, but we had 2 vendors. We had Went and we had a sheetrock guy and a painter. That they both required additional days to their contract.
So there is a cost. There, we still know.
Time and money.
Okay.
With the impact days that are on there, like Mark said, it's just to actually do the work. There is additional work, obviously, that has to happen. They're just saying that the amount of time that they need to take care of that scope of work is 5 days.
Okay.
Those 5 days are gonna fall in with other work that's going on in the building. It's just to let everybody know, hey, when we get in and we get started in this particular room, it's gonna take us about 5 days to get through and get out.
And that's working simultaneously, the painter, sheetrock guy and the electrician all working on same days. It's not a successive work schedule. They're working at the same time.
I just don't want to surprise that it's gonna go back and it's, 10,000 a day and then it's 50,000 and,
No, that price takes care of all the work that's in it, and obviously we're still back and forth on some other items, but yeah, that work there is just basically to say, hey guys, if this gets approved, expect this to be in this area of the building for another 5 days to get it knocked out.
Okay.
That's this change orders.
and then they change.
This is. Oh, I'm sorry, this is Paul Bonnet with PGAL on the line, and Jane Fahn is also on the line with us too, but as I recall, and sorry, I'm in the car, but as I recall on the district clerk's area in general, that we did reconfigure that entire, a lot of that area toward the end of design. And Zane, correct me if I'm wrong, it might have even been during construction. I don't quite recall, but I know that there was a design change in that area, probably shortly before we went out to bid.
The
Zane,
only design, I'm sorry, this is Pam Hurd. The only design change I can think of for that area was to not put in bulletproof glass because we have to have it open, and also to get the counter where we can actually use it. The power that had to go to where the public computers were, that never changed. Those were always there. So something happened where it got missed.
So I
Okay,
think
well,
though, this is
yeah, go ahead, Zane.
so I think the decision to take out the windows was decided during construction. I think what Paul was referring to was that we made some revisions to this lobby area just shortly before we submitted the drawings for bid. So it does affect a little bit of the coordination between architectural and electrical and telecom that we were working with.
Yeah, and if I remember right, I know that there was a space designated for the public computers. It was inside the district clerk space, which I know that Pam, you have had a bit of an issue with. So that's part of the reason for that change.
No, as far as I know, Paul, we was always planned to have the public computers in the lobby. And it never would have occurred to me because I walked in there during building and saw where they were building the public terminal areas, which were obvious, but it wasn't until 2 or 3 visits later that we realized there's no data over there. I don't know how that got missed. So that's the only,
Understood, Jam, and I think from what I recall of the process, the county's project manager was communicating with you about what you needed, and then he would communicate back with us, so we didn't really have a group design session on this item, so that there may have been some miscommunication, that's all I'm saying.
okay.
But if the intention was to put computers there, and I understand there can be miscommunication, computers are going to need a data link and power.
I understand, but I think what was communicated to us was that they were gonna be inside the space. And that's, we had a spot designated for public computers, but, again, it
think
was
you're-
made,
For, this is Misty, the county clerk. The public computers were going to be in my office space. But there are data connections in my lobby for the public computers, but not inside my office. So I think the district clerk and the county clerk's data and power for public computers have been totally mixed up.
No, I think it's been a definite miscommunication.
well, that is an issue separate from this change order, from what I understand, but, and I know that we have already talked about that issue and made those changes as well.
And then the other part of the change order is moving the seal, we go back to your first floor. Floor plan, moving the seal that was going to be in the floor and moving it up onto this wall. So when you walk in the door, you can see it right here on the wall.
Yeah, that's a
Reducing the size of it so that it is not a tripping hazard or a cleaning hazard.
So the add in the power and the data. I see DC A208, but the other part of that, DC A210, that's actually the staff area. Where are we adding power in there?
That's where we're gonna be adding power for the desk. And that's supposed to be going along this wall, and we don't have that change order.
Okay, it's in the motion.
Yeah. It's a whole other change order that we had, that's where we were a little confused.
Okay, so we need to amend the motion.
We don't know that change order yet.
Okay.
So I need the motion amended to delete the add data and power to A210.
So moved it. We move it. Make a motion.
Yeah.
Whoever.
I will amend my motion to change. Also add
To delete.
to delete
Yes.
A210.
Yes.
I'll second the amendment.
All right.
Sorry.
So the motion.
Sorry, let me fix this really fast. So the change order is, the one that we have in front of us is for A208 and A209. So if you look at those two rooms, there is going to be, because let me highlight this part. Correct. So on this part,
It's not gonna be this, it's gonna be just this, yeah.
okay, so not the bottom line.
So if 209 is not on the agenda, I don't believe we could do anything with it.
Well, we are going to. So right here.
That's not what I'm saying. It's not on the agenda to prove that, so we. don't think
This
we should
change
do it.
order, 13 for CPR 86 is going to be a change adding power and data to their front clerk desk and for the, I guess, public computer. And then there's gonna be a future change order to add power poles and connect traps in their work area.
The 210.
Yes.
Yes, the 210 and the
Both are
wall.
Needed.
So the A1A document is not correct then as well. Cause it's add data and power to 210. And log
Right,
to
that document was put together with the consensus of Teal and everybody concerned in the private meeting. So that document is an exact reflection of what they asked to put in the change order.
What's included in the price is for district clerk and district clerk lobby, which is.
At one point, for whatever reason, they had all the desks facing away from the counter, and they ended up putting all of the power and data in the back wall. And that, it can't be there. We have to face the counter. So there's gonna be desks in a row, basically, parallel to the front counter and parallel to that back wall. So the power's gotta get to those desks some way.
And that will be a feature change for those powers.
But still, if you don't have 209 on the agenda, you can't approve
Yeah, we can't approve it.
Right, so.
Well, the AIA document is incorrect then too.
That's correct. You're right.
So maybe we should back up and move the table until it's.
Yeah, we gotta table this because nothing matches.
But we do have a, if not, we can do it.
Yeah.
That's in the agenda.
I move to table.
Second.
Commissioner Casterly,
Aye.
Commissioner Rizzo. Aye. Commissioner Dubnik.
Aye.
Judge Johnson.
Aye, this matter is tabled. Item number 2, we're gonna get an update. Do you have an update for the progress?
I do have an update. I have a video that I thought would be interesting for the commissioners and everyone to see. Just because you don't have the opportunity to go up into the attic. So one of the things that we've talked about is the insulation in the attic. And right now we have 3 contractors who are quoting.
Right, we have a scope of work that was put together by all parties, and then Justin wrote the scope and sent it to the subcontractors. We're still waiting on price.
No volumes. You probably don't want to hear us.
They have a video behind this.
Yeah, so you just want to see this video. I just thought it was interesting because I went up in the tower and then went off to my left. So I just went around one corner. So imagine 3 more corners walking around. It gives you an idea of how much insulation is actually going to be required up there in that attic. It's not like your house.
Right.
So, and then it's going to be, I believe it's 5 inches thick
Right,
and take 2 passes.
right,
Right, Justin?
because the insulation, when they put it down, reacts as a catalyst added to a solution. It generates heat, so they have to wait until it chills before they go back with a second pass.
Yep. One plate.
Yeah.
So is it gonna be over, it's gonna cover the framing that's on the floor, or
It is.
which is the top side of the ceiling?
Correct.
But not against the walls.
Not
No.
against, it goes up on that one side.
It'll go between, there's a little wall cavity between that concrete and the roof deck that it'll go, but it's not gonna be on a vertical surface.
Can you go back a little?
So how long does it take it to cool? Normally when they're spraying that, they're moving, and as soon as it cools, they go back and add on to it right then.
That's one question we asked Commissioner Gaston. And
Get it there.
the thought was, by the time they make it all the way around the attic and come back. to the
Yeah, it'll be ready
Start
to-
spray it again.
So is that water there, sitting water?
It is.
There may be some in there that, if you remember, this is right at the tower where it's not finished, where we gotta run the brick up.
Okay.
And I think this was right after it had rained
Oh,
and just kind of come through some of the backside of it, but that's all it is.
It'll be dry before they put in the insulation.
Mhm.
Is Renee out there? Yes.
Renee.
Renee's finishing that. Renee, will you or your team have to be up in the attic for anything once this insulation is put in?
Not that, I've actually been in the attic prior to the finding that we needed additional electric in there, and it didn't appear that we would.
It is walkable.
Yeah.
You can walk on this insulation without
Disturbing it.
deteriorating the insulated qualities.
It's, Justin, it's like 4,000.
Square feet or, this building is 10,011 square feet, I believe it is. The floor space of 5.5 inches thick, roughly.
Other than the attic space, is there anything like plumbing or electrical or any kind of duct system either?
No, so there's electrical for all your soffit lights. So all your ribs and everything run through there and then they'll,
But insulation will not be
Right.
over that area.
right.
It's just on the, what would be the floor and there,
Concrete.
it'll be covering those beams that are going across.
Correct. Correct.
Truss frame.
So I thought that would be interesting for you to see. And then the other floor plan that you have there is for JP 1 and 2. And that is where we need to be putting in the doors. And also the electricity and data for their printers. And then some additional electricity in those rooms.
Is that
So that's-
plans area you have?
It is.
Yeah. Those are the doors, and the doors are, from where I had originally thought in my head, they're being pushed back. Because, the lighting system is already up in the ceiling, so we just want to.
So how many circuits you're gonna run in there? Most of that stuff's low power.
Yeah, so they have a lot of electricity already, but they wanted some about against the back walls. Which, since we already have to put electricity in there for the printer,
Hmm.
just gonna run a couple more. So there probably, I think there's 3 outlets on each side on the back wall. And then the doors that are requirements. Card readers. So the district clerks will have card readers to get into their side.
Oh, I see, like the legend, I understand. Yeah.
Okay, and other than, there will be more change orders coming up. I just want you to be aware of that, what that is, the JP 1 and the JP 2. That'll be coming forward. Maybe next week.
I have a question for you.
Mhm.
The lower additional countertops that are in the way of us waiting on the counter,
Mhm.
has there been any discussion or pricing out of what it would be to remove that so that we can keep the warranty?
Not at this time.
Because I want to make this public and I want to make it known that my staff is not waiting that counter till it's removed. And if we lose warranty on those few walls to get that out, I will do that.
Okay. No.
Can I make one comment just to make things a little more confusing? On that AIA document that you're looking at, the list of rooms 208 and 210.
Yes, sir.
If you look at the electrical, so I think the plan sheet that you have is the architectural floor plan. If you look just on the electrical drawings, there is no 209. So that's 208 and 210, which matches the AIA document. And the plugs that go on the back side of that counter are technically in room 210.
I'm looking at 209 different plans.
Do we not have
Can I do this,
electrical
or-
drawing?
I can let you look at it
Right
here.
here,
It's not, I
we
don't
don't-
believe it's in this document, yes.
So we
But
can
on
see
the-
what you're talking about.
I think I can pull it up on my computer.
Yeah.
If you want to do that, that may help.
It's been tabled, so we're not talking about that right now. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
But they already tabled it, so you can't actually. talk about it right now.
You'd have to join the same.
Not trying to be-
They're not saying we can just talk about it.
So we can't.
Okay, all right. Well, if it's over, it's over with it.
I'm not trying to be mean about it, but
All right.
The state,
we will talk about it again, I promise, but now we know.
more than we want to.
All right, well, that's it. We gotta go into a closed session.
Wait,
Oh, yes, sir.
I have several items I'd like to.
Oh, absolutely, come on, yeah.
So we have three large outstanding change orders, and Elle mentioned the first one about the attic installation. So as we said, we've got three bids coming in for that. The original bid from Teal was $299,000. I'm hoping we can get that much less than that. So with an effort from this bidding process we're going through, I believe we're going to see a great reduction in that cost. So that was the first issue. The next one is the Texas jail standards. We've had a meeting with Courtney this week, and
Could you say who we are?
it was PGAL, myself, Elle was in the meeting.
Deputy Brooks.
We had Texas jail standards people. I'm not sure who all was involved in that meeting. Paul, you may have a record of that.
Renee was there.
Paul, are you still on?
Yeah.
He's all but muted.
Okay.
I am on the line. I believe it was just Courtney Elrod from the jail standards side.
Okay.
Okay, but anyway, it was determined that we need an extra detention grade door on the outside of the building, so it's gonna add another door to this. Shop drawings are underway. This will be added to that scope of work, so we'll get a modified cost.
Okay. You said the grade door come from the exterior inside that,
Into the lobby.
the lobby?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, that price originally started out at, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but 229,000, Justin?
Yeah, that's pretty close, yes, sir.
229,000, so we may see an increase in that. And also, we're, in the interest of time, the 16-week delivery time, are we already into that 16 weeks, Justin, or are we waiting on the final?
No, sir, we're not. We got the directive to order doors and frames. Those, that started the submittal process. The submittals came in, that's when we understood that there was gonna be an issue with doors needing to be added or hardware needing to be added. So that a time essentially it stopped until we figure out if we've got to have electrified hardware or an addition of doors, get that price and whatnot. So the 16 weeks to get the material has not started.
Right, so we've got 16 weeks of lead time.
And was there a determination?
Once it's approved.
2 or 4 doors that were needed?
Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's just one additional door, is that right?
What was the total?
Well, the total that we had prior to this additional contact with the jail standards folks, we had 4 additional detention doors. Now we have 5.
Okay, because that point was argued for about 35 minutes at the last bi-weekly meeting we had. So now we're saying we're going to need
So
5.
we do
additional
have the shop
detention
drawings for the 4 that were previously in proposal request number 12, and sorry for the road noise again. And we will review and get those back to Teal today so we can start whatever the lead time is. And we want to remind people that the 16 weeks is hopefully a worst case. And then we'll have to get another drawing done for the exterior door. Shop drawing.
So the submittals will be coming from PGAL.
Actually, they come from the vendor to PGL through Teal. So that's going to be modified because we have 5 doors now.
And when do we think that process is starting?
Justin?
I know we're waiting on some answers on hardware for a couple of the doors that are gonna affect the submittals. I think that's
Justin, we've got that figured out, and we've been talking to the county and Elle about that this past week. So when we send that back, we'll have the answer on the hardware set.
Okay.
And when do you think you're sending that back?
Paul?
I would like to get it back today. Zane and I need to talk about that and make sure that there's no other issues, but hopefully today.
Fitting, thank you.
So just so you understand, once we get it back, we'll send that out for pricing. And then we'll send that back and get the okay on the price and the release of the hardware.
Then that starts at 16.
Correct.
After that.
Correct.
Well,
On that particular
Justin.
item, if we get the submittal back on the first 4 doors, then the 16 weeks for that can start today or tomorrow, as soon as we get it back. So,
Yeah, I thought the 16 weeks included shop drawing phase.
no. 2 to 3 for shop drawings and then 16 for materials.
16 weeks, 4 months. So the other item I wanted to speak about was on or around January the 5th. We got a change order request from Teal Construction Company for extended general conditions from our original date of construction, which was the end of September, to the new date of January 31st. They wanted a change order for $508,000. So Mike Monreal and myself and some scheduling gurus that we have with the firm took the construction schedule, the native file, and with some review and modification or review and understanding of what was there, we got on the phone with Teal Construction Company. And as of now, we've got that price down to $299,000, which we believe that through that effort, I think that this is probably a win-win as far as we can go. This is about the best we can do with that. But that's going to be a change order, $299,000 for extended general conditions
That's just for the period from September.
to January 31st.
And then we're already at February 22nd.
Right. We're still doing basic scope of services though. We've given them a change order to extend the contract to January 31st, but we have not extended the time beyond that. So they're still bound by January 31st.
Oh. If we do finish this in August. Is there more, are we looking at more?
We're probably
general
gonna,
conditions?
well, obviously, we got the jail commission standards that are gonna give them additional time. And they're asking for 16 weeks, so we've got that. And then there may be some other change orders that warrant extended time, such as the one we attempted to process there, that change order number 13, which were 5 days.
Right. Are the elevators in?
We have one elevator.
Oh, good.
Installed?
No.
It's a partial ship. Is that right?
We've got a portion of an elevator in the building. They've had some technicians kind of get started on it. They're not real far down the road, but they do have a portion of it in. And just to go back to the original number that Mark had mentioned of 500,000 plus or minus, they got moved down to 300,000. That difference isn't necessarily a direct reflection of any scheduling items. There was costs in there from subcontractors who had been passed through us, kind of for the same reason those have been pulled out, still need to be discussed, et cetera. But the number that Mark mentioned of 299,000, that is just general conditions for Teal Construction.
So are you saying that the elevator that was delivered wasn't a complete elevator? Or it was a complete elevator and only a portion of it has so far been?
It's not a complete elevator.
That's what I thought you were saying.
Yes, it's not a complete elevator.
Did the city get a complete elevator with their shipment?
I believe the city's was complete. Yes, ma'am.
Do we know when the rest of the first elevator out of 3 will be showing up?
They told us that each elevator, I believe, is a truck and a half, 18-wheeler and a half, to deliver it. So it may end up being that we get the second half of elevator 1 and the first half of elevator 2 on the next truck. When that's actually going to ship out, they haven't given us that logistics, but they do know that it's 18 to 20 working days before they even need to get to elevator 2. So it may be another week and a half before we could realistically see the balance of it, depending on how the install is going and what's still lacking.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right.
right.
Well, thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Now at this time, we got a closed session.
Yes.
Okay. Entertain the motion and.
And move to adjourn the open session, reconvene in closed session.
Second.
Commissioner Castro.
Aye.
Commissioner Russo.
Aye.
Commissioner Dukenix.
Hi. Take about 5 minutes and then reconvene. All right, we're on.
Now you can move.
I move to reconvene into open session at
Second.
2:38.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick,
Aye.
Judge Gossip.
Hi, we're in open session now. There's no action. For any closed session items we heard, and I'll move to, or do I have a motion
Look to
to
adjourn.
I'll second that.
Commissioner Casterline,
Aye.
Commissioner Russo,
Aye.
Commissioner Dupnick.
Aye.
And Judge.
Hi, thank you so much.
So can I tell a story